So I'm going to make this the last installment of this series. This is the fourth video. I've dropped 3 already now. And please note that I shot all of these videos in one day. They're just going to be dropping it on different days. Hopefully I won't change my mind and schedule them to drop earlier. It's going to be the last video speaking about capture, the ambitions and agendas of rich white people, my friendship with Hersov as well. And obviously what I touched on is some of the different role players politically in the country. I think I touched on some of the business players and then some of the voices, that some of the people are trying to push and what the agendas may be. In the last video, which I hope this will be the last video, I might make other videos at another time. I want to say this. First and foremost, I don't even need to say this, but I am not on anyone's payroll. Doesn't matter whether it's Rob Hersov, doesn't matter whether it's DJ Spoop, doesn't matter whether it's Kolofelo Maponya, or any other wealthy person that you have maybe seen me with somewhere. Not because I wouldn't work for them. I definitely would. I'm just more of a wild animal. I like owning my time and my freedom and moving in my way. Number 2, whatever agenda they would probably want me to push would need to be aligned to my penalism principles. So if it's got to do with building great communities, got to do with liberating people's minds, got to do with healthy living and those kind of things, then sure, I wouldn't mind being paid, to go out there and speak like I'm doing now regarding some of those things. If anything, and I think I've said this before, anyone who's potentially captured me is my audience on social media. Not because I say what you guys want to hear, because I really don't. A lot of people get upset by the things I say, but mostly because I actually take your comments seriously and I consider them. Any of the other people I've mentioned, if they were to criticize and judge what I say, I'd probably move away from them and not spend time with them. I'm a minimalist. I don't need much money. Besides my social media income on YouTube, I make other money on the sides in various ways. I've kind of been doing fine in my life and I'm okay. Would I potentially agree to be a voice for certain agendas? Definitely. But knowing myself, I would be one of those people who would be open about, I am now working for the DA. I'm now working for Action SA. I'm now working for the ANC. And I'm trying to push this thing, because it's within my integrity, within my principles and values as a person. I'd even tell this person that I can't be working in the shadows for some sinister agenda that people won't know about. What are my wishes? I've got 2 wishes, 3 wishes actually. Number 1, I really wish for a bulk of Black people to be mentally liberated. Black people historically have just really suffered under colonization, apartheid, the slave trade, under their own tribal wars, etc. And I wish and I hope at some point Black people will own their minds and not just happily give them to religious leaders and not just happily give them to traditional leaders, the kings and the queens and the chiefs, and not just happily give it to business leaders, but genuinely be like, I own my life. I'm in control and I will make sure that I eat well, I exercise, and I do good work. That adds to the building of humanity. I really wish for Black people to be liberated, man, and to see beyond race. It's been a tough journey for myself. I can imagine how much tougher it would be for other people, but it's really my wish. There are so many good white people, so many good Indian people, so many good colored people, so many good Chinese people, and foreigners around the world, around the continent. And if you could remove these blinkers that have been put on about my race and my nationality, you would actually see that. And funny enough, most people do. If you look at Black people and you look at some of the movie stars they admire, some of the music they listen to, some of the countries they wish to visit, it's not just Black movie stars. It's not just Black musicians. It's not just Africans that they admire. They admire people from around the world. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Brad Pitt, some of the innovators, inventors in Europe. You look at brands like Batu and Drip and you think of the brothers, Adidas and Puma. You look at the guys that set up BMW and Mercedes-Benz. You look at people like Jack Ma, the guys that founded Tencent and WeChat. You look at some of the K-series in South Korea, K-pop with BTS. You look at Hollywood, of course, South African Elon Musk, but you look at Jeff Bezos, people that admire the business acumen of people like Bill Gates, and obviously on the African continent, people like Aliko Dangote, we go Oprah Winfrey. There are so many amazing human beings on the planet that black people admire, but there's this historic thing of white oppression, especially on the continent, that has obviously left a very bitter taste in a lot of black people's mouths. But I hope they can transcend that. Not to embrace all white people. There are so many racist, disgusting, evil white people out there. So you need to maneuver correctly. But in the same breath, there are so many evil, disgusting, oppressive black people. Historically, some of the pharaohs, especially the ones who oppressed slaves to build pyramids, some of the kings and queens and chiefs, some of the presidents that we've had on the continent have been evil people to their own black people. So you need to maneuver beyond that. That's one of my wishes. My second wish, because I'm still South African and I still live in this country for now, I really wish for South Africans to see how great they are and to really begin loving themselves. It shouldn't take an America giving Ladysmith Black Mambazo, Black Coffee, Zakes Bantwini, Voter, what's Voter's surname? Sorry, Voter, who won the Grammy as well. We shouldn't take the Grammys to see our own greatness in our musicians. It shouldn't take Utusombedu going to Hollywood, Arnold Vosloo, Charlize Theron going to Hollywood to see the beauty of our actors. It shouldn't take Trevor Noah going to be on The Daily Show to see how talented and immensely powerful he may be. Shouldn't take Elon Musk going to become a billionaire in America for us to respect our business people. We have got amazing musicians, we've got amazing actors, we've got great minds and thinkers, we've got amazing business people. As angry as people get, Johann Rupert, the Oppenheimers, outside of Patrice and other business people, some really amazing businesses here, people like Michael Jordan, brilliant, Justin Stanford, Vinnie Lingham. If you study the business acumen of Vivian Reddy and what he was able to achieve during the apartheid era, and so many other business people that are not even linked to BEE. We've got some good politicians. They're very hidden, especially because the politics in this country is such a fucking mess. There are good politicians who really try to work and try to govern and try to solve problems. There are great academic scholars here who have written amazing books. People like Zakes Mda, who was my favorite South African author and writer, rather. People like William Kentridge in art, Velaphi Mzimba, Vusi Khumalo, Mam Helen Speedy. Some of our, Gregory Makoma, our Dada Masilo. We had Hugh Masekela, Sibongile Khumalo, Miriam Makeba. This country is rich. And we've got our designers. Maklos, of course, now, Batu Drip, the guys. So many other, David Klale, Tula Cindy, Gavin Roger. Not Gavin, is it Gavin Roger? I think it might be Gavin Roger. Amazing, Anand Singh in our movies. Gavin Hunt, not Gavin Hunt, he's a soccer coach. The guy who directed Tsotsi. I think it might be Gavin something. I'm not sure. We've got people that are really, really talented in this country. And I wish we could find a way to be passionate about South Africans. The Broederbond and Afrikaner psychology is something that we need to learn from. Their patriotism, their desire to flock to a cinema to watch an Afrikaans movie, their desire to flock to a school hall and watch children singing in a choir or in a play. Their passion with going and watch their children play rugby on a Saturday, and then later on going to the stadium to go and support local teams like the Blue Bulls, the Free State Cheetahs, Western Province, the Sharks, as examples. They buy Afrikaans magazines, Afrikaans literature. They buy Afrikaans food and they try to wear Afrikaner clothing. That is something that South Africans need to take, not from just an Afrikaans perspective, but from a local, proudly South African perspective. We need to make sure that if we have a choice between Netflix and MultiChoice and Showmax, go local. A choice between WhatsApp and a Mixit, go for Mixit and say we love our nation. It shouldn't take what's done with the Chinese. The Chinese block out Google and Facebook and they force their citizens to support local. It's a great initiative and it's great leadership. America's obviously got your Googles, your Facebooks, they've got WhatsApp now, which was actually founded by foreigners there, funny enough. But we should just passionately choose South African. If it's expensive, let's buy it and then tell the owners, guys, you are expensive. We want to support you, but do better. Choose a chicken licken and a Nando's over a KFC. Choose a Steers over a McDonald's. Choose a Spur over whatever foreign restaurant brand is here. We have amazing stories to tell. We can make money here. We can become wealthy, and not just from our mines, which are owned by foreigners and should be owned by locals. Not just our farms, which sadly Africa has been sold to Americans. We should buy that back. Bring Naspers back to South Africa, listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and get foreigners to invest in Naspers and all the other brilliant companies we have here. We need to work together to do that. The Springboks are an amazing example and symbol of what's possible. Bafana need to rise to the occasion and need to bring in white, colored, black, Indian into the team, like we saw with the team of Neil Tovey, Eric Tinkler, Mark Fish, Philmon Masinga, Lucas Khadebe. These were the stars, Ohelmen Kalele, Andre Arense. We love them. And they made sure that they shone on the world stage. We need to love South Africa. We need to plow back because this is our home. And if you can't do it for the country, do it for your neighborhood. Buy from locally owned businesses in your neighborhood. Support schools in your neighborhood. Go to a school, go watch rugby. Even if you're not going to watch, pay that 10 Rand entry fee because it invests in the school. Go to a school play in your neighborhood. Even if you don't have time to watch the play, sponsor some tickets to other people that can't afford it. If you have a little bit of extra money, support your neighborhood and invest there so that your neighborhood can look great. That's my South African wish. Then I just have a wish for the whole world. Capitalism has really not done the best. Yes, it's arguably the greatest model for now versus socialism, communism, etc. But it's still not great. And a lot of evil people have used capitalism to commit the greatest atrocities in history. Slavery, the killing, the murdering, the shafting people off land, the exploiting of resources and paying people peanuts, child soldiers, child labor. We need to go back to nature. All of us, rich, poor, white, black, it doesn't matter. We need to go back to organic. We need to let people enjoy the lands like animals. We need to get some people to unplug and go back to bartering. We don't have money, it's fine. But can you offer me goods? Can you offer me services? Teach my child, I will give you a cabbage. Come and help me fix my car and I'll give you a plate of food. I will make you a bench if you will make me a nice item of clothing. And let's go back to some level of humanity and let's add to the amazing progression that human beings have brought us to today. We have the power to do that. Bring back art, the beauty of art, not the materialism. How can we launder money? How can we steal? How can we exploit? No, the beauty of expression, of paintings and movies and music, beautiful music. And let the people with the best voices sing. And get together and feast and eat and live as we should as human beings. And be healthy and not obese and move around. Park the cars. Stop pumping people. Oh, let's go buy, let's go buy. Just take a walk in nature, hike. Be good. Those are my wishes. A lot of the rich people in this country would like to make South Africa great again. A lot of them are blind to what it takes to make South Africa great like the past. It requires oppression and subjugation of the masses, which we don't want anymore. So they need to let go of some of their privileges. They need to let certain people maybe move into their big mansions. They maybe need to downsize their mansions and let other people come live in those spaces. They need to downgrade their fancy 7 cars and maybe have 3. Give away some of the cars and share. Share. Don't just give welfare and crumbs to the poor. Actually get them to partake. Make sure that you are consciously investing in the right type of political leader. And you are building businesses that are sustainable and have a good environmental impact on South Africans. And make sure that you're also investing in the villages and rural spaces so that we don't have population density in the cities. As a wealthy person, you have the ability to do that. People laugh that I've been captured. People laugh that I have sold out to AfriForum. One of the things people don't think about is, what if I am capturing them? What if I am trying to hack Rob Hersov and his network and trying to get them to see a different way of living, a different way of being, trying to get them to connect with people out there? I want to reach out to a Johann Rupert, to a Nikki Oppenheimer, and sit down with them. I want to sit down with a Stephen Saad, with a Brian Joffe, with a Yanni Mouton, with a Christo Visa, with a Robert Gumete, with a Patrice Motsipe. Sit with these people and try and get them to understand, can we build more sustainable businesses? Can we try and ensure that townships are vibey and there's no crime? Can we hold hands and make sure that our borders are strong and secure? Can they invest like Sir Donald Gordon? Invest in the arts. Invest in the beauty of South Africa, and not do it from a poverty or charity, let's take pictures and it's cute, but really engage, really indulge. Let's visit the townships and see how beautiful this landscape is. Get some of the Indian billionaires to invest in other spaces that are not just Indian neighborhoods. Get some of the colored people that are doing well to explore other spaces. Get some of the black billionaires to not just run to the suburbs, but to also go back to their townships and build them into something beautiful. We can do that. I have the ability to try and get these people's ears and get them to invest in South Africa so that we can have more Siya Kolisis, not just from a rugby perspective, but from a business perspective, from an arts perspective, from an academic perspective, and unearth all these black diamonds, these rough diamonds we have in this country, so that the world can shine, so that the world can want to visit us. And Nelson Mandela is not the only person we speak about. We speak about all the great South Africans we've had and all the great South Africans we are still going to have. It starts with conversation and spending time with some of these people and genuinely building real relationships and real friendships. Maybe I joined AfriForum so that I can sit with the guys there and get them to potentially open up to more than just Afrikaans people. Already they are doing amazing work with the Zulu Kingdom and Ingonyama Trust. They are doing amazing work with the royal family, with the traditional royal family in the Free State. They are opening themselves up to other communities. We want Orania to invite other people, black people, colored people, Indian people, to visit Orania and have guided tours on how to build your own self-sustaining communities and do knowledge exchanges over time and have people from Orania go to Soweto, go to Alex, go to Mlazi Kwamashu, go to Mdantsane, go to Guguletu Kailicha, and say, we would like to help you build your neighborhoods into something like Orania for your people. How do you crowdfund? How do you get the people with the skills, the plumbers and the electricians and the woodworkers and everyone else in this community to build this closed-off community that is beautiful and thriving with alternative energy, with good schools, etc.? That's my wish for the whole world, to build a better world. We can do it. It's a bit idealistic, it's crazy, especially because we live with criminals and thugs who are hell-bent on the world being as disastrous as it is now, because they get to be super billionaires with all these yachts and these super mansions, and they get to own mini countries. But I think there's a better world, and I think some of us can get them to listen and understand. And I'm hoping to make more friends that make people uncomfortable. But over time, I hope people understand my vision. I hope people understand my vision. I don't care much for money. I care for human beings. My wealth is going to be in how many human beings I've been able to impact and affect and influence so that they lose weight and have good bodies, so that they have better family relationships, so that they have better communities that are clean, that are safe, that are secure. How many criminals can I convert from crime to actually doing real work? How many school teachers can I get to actually teach practical education? How many business people can I get to take some of their profits and invest it in the communities they're in? How many politicians can I get to go back to the townships and villages they grew up in and develop them? And how many white billionaires can I get to work with black and Indian and colored billionaires and see how they can plow back into this country and bring in foreign currency and other great things here and turn South Africa into the beauty it can be? Penuel the Black Pen, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Cheers.